Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a couple days before Christmas, right? Make sure it's all working right there. Looks like it is. All right, let's flip some things here. We'll get some folks going here. Do a little chatting this morning. I've decided that our studio, which Amanda decorated while I was gone last week, we actually, right, we're the Christmas station. You think we'd have Christmas decorations up all over the place. This year, it took us forever. Amanda actually did it last week while I was gone. Good morning. Richard's here. Debbie's here. Hey. Good morning, on. Good morning. And I decided today that Kathy, good morning, Kathy. Scott, good morning, Scott. I've decided that the Christmas lights that Amanda put up are just like the Christmas lights at my house, or perhaps your house. Michelle, good morning, Michelle. Half of them are out. I was looking at them like, they look great. Wait a minute. Half of them are out. What's up with that? I got to talk here. Hang on. Hang tight. Days. Let's talk about Santa's grab bag. Santa's grab bag. Merry Christmas. Santa's coming to town before Christmas. He's going to be here in a matter of 30 minutes with 198.5's Santa's grab bag. Fly over when you hear him. His jet-powered sleigh. Just be the ninth caller, 513-749-1098. You get to reach in, grab some presents. They're all yours. So good luck. Santa's on the way on Cincinnati's Christmas station. Wow. I don't know if I can talk. I'm not really sure yet. I'm working on that still. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, Gina. So the half the lights are out. We have these trees in front of our house, right by our front door. Little, 4-foot tall trees, and they've had the lights on them forever. And 2 years ago, half of them went out, so we had to restring that half to make sure that the lights were working. And then not this morning, but a couple weeks ago, the wind blew over the tree, boom, and the other half of the lights went out. And Tracy and I were just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So we have this tree right by our front door that's just half of it's lit and the other half is not. Meanwhile, on the other side of the door, there's one fully lit. But you live at the end of a cul-de-sac and no one comes down our cul-de-sac, it's like, it doesn't matter. We have the greatest, seriously, we have the coolest place to live because it is the furthest point in our neighborhood. It's not a through street. You truly have to drive past all these other roads that go out to the main area and then drive down a long way, make a right, drive down a little bit. That dead ends into a cul-de-sac, but right before that you make a left and go to our cul-de-sac. No one comes to our area. So, honestly, we got some lights out. It's kind of okay. I'm okay with that. I feel like I'm a normal person. So who's this dude who does it upside down? He does it upside down, and he does it, I think, in 8 seconds. Maybe 8.9 seconds. And the points are important. This kid just got in the Guinness Book of World Records for solving a Rubik's Cube while hanging upside down. He's got his feet. He's doing it at his gym. I think he's a middle schooler. He's got his feet wrapped over something, upside down, arms up like this, going with his Rubik's Cube. I think it's 8.9 seconds. I could be wrong on that, but he has the Guinness Book of World Record. Not only that, but also solving Rubik's Cube while juggling. I can't even solve one while I'm sitting here, much less upside down, much less juggling. I don't know how you do it. I have friends who just fly through it, and me, I cannot do it. It's just wrong. Santa can't find my house. Santa can't find my house, Richard, without lights on. That's why we do have lights. Trust me, we have a lot of lights. But that one particular one, not so much. Hi, Patricia. Good morning. Shirley, I think, snuck in here without me saying good morning. So, hello. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I wanted to show you something. So when I was in high school, we all have different jobs, when you start out working. And my first job was at a nursing home, and I worked in the kitchen. And I put the food on everybody's trays, and I took them out to the tables, and then I washed. Good job, made good money, not what I wanted to do forever. So then I said, okay, what's my second job going to be? I'm not very good at looking for jobs. I'm more like, hey, you want to work for me? Sure. That's kind of how all my jobs have come about. So my youth group leader, Hank was worked at a nursery. I grew up in high school just north of Washington, D.C. in Maryland. And my friend, youth group leader Hank, he was the direct manager of one of the perennials. Yeah, manager of the perennials, or was it the annuals? What did he do? I think it was the annuals at a greenhouse called Benkin's Florist. No, Benkin's Florist Home and Garden Center is here, which is awesome in Silverton. This one is Benke's, and Benke's was in Maryland. That's where I worked. And I got to grow poinsettias, right? When we were like a massive greenhouse, right? We were the greenhouse that not only had, a couple sales stores, but we supplied poinsettias to, like Kroger wants to sell poinsettias. We would be the ones that would supply them to them. We were the wholesaler. And then we also delivered them to, to the White House. The White House had our poinsettias. I grew poinsettias that were at the CIA. We delivered to, I remember this, Elizabeth Dole, from Bob Dole, who just passed away. We delivered his Christmas tree and poinsettias while I was working there. It was so cool. But here's the thing. To grow a fantastic poinsettia such as this, it takes a lot of work. And it doesn't get to this size in December without starting growing them in August. Seriously, we were planting, your poinsettia gets planted in August, and it's the most fascinating process to grow the poinsettias. Kathy, you were in a nursing home. Yeah, that's a hard place to work, Kathy. I came away from there. It was hard. It was really hard. I've always been, I'll get back to the poinsettias in a second. I've always been really uncomfortable around people I can't communicate with. So if someone can't communicate to me, I have a very hard time. And a lot of times in the nursing homes, you get older. You have whatever kind of ailments going on in your body, and speaking can become hard. And I had such a hard time doing that. I mean, I'll admit it. I'm not good with that. There was a kid I knew who, one of my youth group kids who had, I don't remember what he had, but he did not speak. He had to use the keyboard to talk. And I was so uncomfortable talking to him until one day we went on a retreat, and I was tasked with 3 other kids of helping Ben, his name was Ben, helping Ben get to this retreat because he'd never been on a retreat before. He wasn't able to. And we made sure he got on a retreat his senior year. And being forced to be with him and learning to communicate with him, it really broke that uncomfortableness I had with not being able to talk with people who can't communicate back with me in my way, right? I mean, they can communicate, just not in my way, and that really made me uncomfortable. Anyways, back to the poinsettias. So we start growing the poinsettias in August, and we had a greenhouse, and the greenhouse we had was, I want to say it was 4 acres, all under glass, 4 acres, all under glass. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but it was at least 2 acres under glass. And we had 10,000, this that I remember, we had 10,000 mother plants that were just sitting on tables that were about waist height, and they were wire tables, so you could water, like a greenhouse. Water will drip through. You don't need a solid table. So 10,000 poinsettias in pots, and they just grew. And by the end of the growing season, these poinsettias were, they were probably 5 feet tall coming out of the pots, and they were all holding each other up because they're just jammed together to get 10,000 in there. And what we would do is we would go in, and as the shoots came up, we would take the top part that is nice and slender and tender, about that much. So what is that, about 3 or 4 inches, and we go up there and we snap it off. And before we could even do that, we had to take our hands and cleanse our hands because we didn't want germs getting in, because I guess poinsettias are very picky. They don't like to be sick. So we had to dip our hands in this bleach solution. Oh, that felt good. I mean, me with my where I cut myself on my cheese grater the other day. Can you imagine that sucker going in bleach? It was every morning. It's like, I got a cut there. Thank goodness it was summertime when your hands aren't dry and cracking. So in the heat of August, and we had to do this in the morning because when it got hot, you couldn't snap as well, and it was not good to be transplanting these in the morning or in the afternoon when it got hot. And DC gets very, very hot and humid. So we would start work at 4 in the morning. We would be in this massive crew of people, and you snap off the top part after bleaching your hands, and you get a whole bunch of these shoots that are like this long. You get like bunches in your hand, and then you would go over to the carts that were in the middle, and you take the cut ends and you would dip them in I think it was bleach or a growing solution in there, and then you'd lay them into a big tin on the carts, and you would just go through 10,000 plants. And how many shoots are on each plant that you can cut? There's probably 5 or 6. So 60,000 snips. Hang tight. And I might sneeze. Happy holidays. Cincinnati's Christmas station, Warm 98.5. Good morning. It's Jim and Amanda show, and it's all Christmas music during this Warmathon on Warm 98.5. And so they would take the, by the way, no, Scott, no Amanda today. Abigail's here. Heidi is here. So we would take they would then take all the cut shoots on the little carts, and they'd go across the greenhouse to the next one. Now, the one I was in that had the 10,000 plants, that sucker was huge. But where they took them to, you can imagine how much bigger that had to be. I mean, it was acres and acres and acres and acres under glass. And I like saying that because that's what they would say. We have 10 acres under glass. I'm like, well, that sounds fancy. So I always say under glass. Not plastic, because you could have plastic greenhouses that have just the plastic. No, this is glass. And so they would take them over there, and there they had the pots. This is how involved this is, right? There they have whatever size pot they're going to grow in, and they take out the correct number of poinsettias. Maybe it's going to be just one, or maybe it's going to be 3, or maybe it's going to be 4. And after cleansing the soil, like when we planted chrysanthemums, we didn't have to be so clean. It was like dump soil in a pot. You're outside, the wind's blowing, you dig a hole with your hand, you stick in the plug, you cover it up. I mean, here with the poinsettias, it's like they're royalty or something. It's like they're so special, you have to treat them wonderfully because they can die. So after bleaching our hands and cutting them off and putting the bleach in and doing it at 4 in the morning before it gets hot and carting them across to little pots where they've already put cleansed soil in, you dip them again, and then you stick them in boop, 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 into the pots, and they then put all the pots on the tables in that greenhouse. And we did that every day for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'll tell you what, so many jobs that we work, we go to work every day and we do what we do and we don't see the results. I mean, you work in a bank, right? You're inputting blah, 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 data. You don't really see where that goes, you know? If you work at a grocery store, you put the stuff on the shelves and it disappears, you put more stuff up. You don't really know what happens to what you do. You work, wherever you work, you really don't see the results, in my opinion at least, of your job. I mean, here I talk, it is what it is. I don't know what you're doing right now. I don't know how Christmas music makes you feel. I don't know how it sounds coming out of your radio. I don't know how much of an idiot I sound like. That I might actually. But with the poinsettias, it was so neat to see it come from the plant, put in the pot, and then grow over the next, I was there probably for the next month, so I would see them get bigger and bigger. And then I would go away to college, and I would come back, and my Christmas vacation started at Thanksgiving. I had all of December off. Went to Otterbein College, now university, just north of Columbus in Westerville, Ohio. And I would be there all month long, so I would come back right when poinsettia season was happening, and I would see what had been little sticks in little pots that had come from 10,000 plants, all of a sudden looking like something like this. And it was just the most satisfying thing to see. It was so cool to see the end result. It's just fascinating. And then we would haul them out to the sales area, and people would be waiting on a certain variety, the Jingle Bell, which was like my favorite. It was is the red one with like white dots. It was called the Jingle Bell. And one of my favorites, and those would sell out all the time. So people are like, oh, do you have any more Jingle Bell? I'm like, hang on. So I trundle on back to the back, and I grab another cart of Jingle Bells, and I bring it out. Things that I had grown, and all of a sudden people are seeing it, and they're like, oh, this is so great. The most joyous feeling. Loved doing it. Loved doing that job. But it's a lot of work to grow a poinsettia. All that said, to say, when you buy your poinsettia, know that it's not just, hey, it's a quick, easy process. We got a pot filled with dirt, stick a poinsettia plug in, boom, we're done. No, there's a lot involved in growing the poinsettia that you have at your house. And you have 5 or 6 or 7. And they come from so many different plants. Like those 3 that you have in there, they could come from 3 different mother plants. It's great. And then at the end, the mother plants give their life because they're so tall and scraggly, you can't do anything with them. They're really quite ugly. We throw them all away. Take 10,000 plants. We let them all dry out so they're bone dry, so there's not a bit of moisture in the pot. And then they're really light, right? And then we would go in with our arms to the tables, and we would just come in like this, reach in and make a big circle like this and grab all these poinsettias that we can. So in that circle, we probably have 10, 15 pots. We take them and we dump them in the dumpster. It's like, how much money are we throwing away? Then again, how much money did we make from those poinsettias? That's the question. So yeah, there you go. That's a lot of poinsettias. Yeah, I know, Richard. That is a ton of poinsettias. That's my poinsettia story. Bet you didn't expect hearing a poinsettia story when you woke up this morning. Hey, Gina, your nephew went to Otterbein? See, he played lacrosse They graduated this year. Yeah, they didn't have lacrosse when I went. They were, we were still rolling boulders for games when I went so long ago. It's boulder rolling day. We were Division III bowling roller champions. It's a great school. I hope your nephew loved it. It really is a good school. The dorm that I stayed in is still there. Garth. It's like I'm watching for the police or something. I'm just checking my music. I stayed in Garth Hall when I was there, which was it's a single story, ugliest dorm in the whole world. Loved it. Was there for 3 years. It was an army barrack back in World War II, and they were selling them, war's over, got all this useless stuff, now got to make some money. So Otterbein bought this dorm. So I stayed in Garth Hall. It was fantastic. Other friends got to stay in the brand new buildings they built, which were really nice. Not me. I wanted to stay in the metal building. Good. I'm glad you loved it there, Gina. It really is a good school. It really is. Thank you, Richard. You love my endless stories that go on and on. Yeah, Gina, there was another dorm, another quick little story. I only have a minute. I got kicked out of one of the dorms. I'll have to get into this story another day. But I was not allowed to get into one of the dorms ever again for the rest of my life. I'm not allowed to enter this one particular dorm. It's right across from the campus center. Gina, you'll know which one it is. The male dorm, right across from the campus center. I'm not allowed to enter that one ever. I went to the judicial review and was told, my punishment was you may not enter that dorm ever again. And I asked, I'm like, does that mean like for my whole life? And they're like, yes. I'm like, okay. I hope next year I don't get put in that room by the dorm lottery. I was back in Garth again. All right. Do I gotta go? Do I gotta get? I think I gotta get. All right, y'all. Be good. God bless. Tomorrow we may or may not be doing this because we're gonna have our Christmas show with a lot of people in here, and it just may be too hectic. So if we do not do it tomorrow, I will see you all next year because Amanda and I are off next week. So if we don't see you tomorrow, God bless. Merry Christmas. Greatest gift ever, Jesus Christ. Here he is. Well, almost. Well, he is here, right? But he's almost here. He's here, but he's almost here. Got it. And then have a great New Year, okay? See ya. Take care. Hey, there's my mother-in-law, Pat. You're welcome, Pat. I'm good. See y'all. Bye-bye.